Hello and welcome to Bowls WA Monthly Bias. It's brought to you by Motobility, where we bring you all of the latest in Bowls WA news. We're so pleased to have Motobility on board as our fantastic partner. Motobility are such an asset to the sport of bowls. They make life easier for everyone, and with thanks to Motobility, you've got a friend. And we've got a friend this week and this month on the show, I should say. The CEO of Bowls WA, Ken Pride, joins me. Ken, thanks for your time. Great to have you on.
Thanks, Jack. Pleasure to be here.
How are you going? How are things returning back to normal, I guess, from a Bowls WA point of view? You were one of the first clubs to begin social bowls.
Yeah, look, we're almost back to normal, to be honest. 10 days ago, government opened up the clubs, so now we can actually have a beer without having no food. So with 100 in the club and 100 outside, we're pretty well back to square one.
I'd imagine that must have been huge for the clubs, because particularly you mentioned that the beer and the food and the catering side of things, it's one of the great unknowns, isn't it? What do we do with stock? What do we do with our club? When do we go about reopening things? So I imagine it's a massive relief for all of your clubs.
Yeah, we're probably fortunate in that the COVID sort of struck at the very end of our season. So we've only sort of missed 3 months of predominantly the off-season. So you're dead right. We're really pleased. Obviously, in terms of getting income through the door, very different from the eastern states in terms of the pokies, of course, none in WA. So to get that traffic through the door again is a blessing.
Speaking of good news, it just continues to come. You've announced a date for the season, October 24.
Underway, yeah. So which will be the normal start of our pennant season. We have our stake falls the week prior to that, and given that the restrictions are lifted now, we're obviously no problems at all starting the season again late October. So it's almost back to normal in terms of what we can and can't do at the clubs.
The Bowls Premier League is something that Perth and Bowls WA have been a part of from the get-go. It shines a fantastic light on the sport for your state and some of the local players that you've selected along the way. Christina Christick's been a long-time player within the team. Cody Packer, Clive Adams, Tommy Mitchell, just to name a few. How are you placed for the Bowls Premier League later on in the year? I mean, we don't know if it's on yet to start with, but how is your preparation coming along? I'd imagine there's a decision that will need to be made there.
Yeah, look, we're certainly ready to go and absolutely dead keen to get started. So we had a licensees meeting recently. 31 July is the key date. Bowls Australia will make a decision if we can get going by 31 July. And clearly at the moment, one of the hold-ups is getting to Queensland and crossing the border. So but we're ready to go. We haven't named a side as yet. I guess we're just waiting to see if it's up and running, and we'll certainly be there for Bells.
Speaking of naming a team, I came across a fact before we caught up today. It's my understanding that, some of the Perth players have been mainstays. I mentioned Christina in particular. Am I right in saying that the Perth Suns have got a record for the shortest time that a player was part of a BPL team? Tell us the Matt Flapper story.
You're dead right. I think he lasted as a Perth Sun for 2 months, but never actually got on the park. But look, we were looking for it was actually 2019 side series, and the board had decided they needed an international player to assist. So WA played Victoria. Manny played exceptionally well. It was the last game of the series, so I took the opportunity to pull him aside and see whatever he hit out with the Perth Suns, which he was keen as mustard to do. So after the next 6 or 7 weeks, we squared that away with Matt. Great, board loved it. Obviously a larger-than-life character, literally. But then, of course, the Melbourne Royals came knocking on the door as well, his old team. And I've never seen a bloke drop as hot out like a hot stove. So which is a shame. And then to follow up on that, I must say, Jack, is that then he decided to come along with Ocean Grove, his own club side at the BPL Cup, and also chop into my own club side. So he wasn't overly popular in WA, while I tell you.
He's got you twice, but he did steer you into a pretty good replacement in Lee Schreiner, didn't he?
He did. So we kept looking for an international player, and he said, well, the guy Lee Schreiner's available, and I knew Lee well, so and of course he was absolutely outstanding in that particular event last year at Pine Rivers. So hopefully Lee will be available for us this time around. 12 months later, we'll get back to the finals as we did this time last year.
Speaking of the BPL Cup, Ken, qualification begins next month, which is fantastic. It's such a great opportunity. It's the equivalent of the FA Cup for those who follow soccer. It's a great opportunity. It culminates in a fantastic opportunity to be on the big stage. And Bowls WA teams have been really well represented over the last 2 years.
Yeah, in fact, my own club side. So South Perth last year, amazingly really, with the 3 sides qualified from WA. So we had about 20 guys go over there, absolute best bowls week of our life, as you can imagine. And of course, till the sides got to the final, so played each other in the final. So it was just one of those golden weeks, really, that may or may not ever come along again. But for all those that haven't played the BPL Cup, that is an absolute must.
It's a great sport, and it's the sort of sport that anyone can play. We've said for years that bowls is a sport for all, and this is living proof. So from a Bowls WA perspective, for more news and information, all you need to do is go to the website bowlswa.com.au. Ken, thank you so much for your time, and well done on all of the great work that you and your team are doing.
Thanks, Jack. Much appreciated, mate. Thanks very much.
Ken Pride, the CEO of Bowls WA, joining us. It's time for our tip of the month. With thanks to Motobility, you've got a friend. And you know that installing a stair lift in your home is actually a lot cheaper than moving house. It allows you to safely get up and down the stairs and stay in the home you love. It couldn't get any more simple than that. Now, you can get up to 20% off stair lifts as part of Motobility's end of financial year sale and save your energy for the more important things in life, like playing bowls at your local club. It sounds like a very good plan to me. So contact Motobility for all the information that you need to know. That's it for this month's edition of Bowls WA Monthly Bias. It's brought to you by our great friends and supporters at Motobility. And don't forget, for all of the Bowls WA news that you need to know, go to bowlswa.com.au. And a huge thanks once again to Motobility. You've got a friend. Stay safe, enjoy being back out on the green, and we'll see you next time.